Let's go to New York and speak to Omar H Rahman, who's a fellow at the Middle East Council on Global Affairs. Omar, welcome to the program. Where do you see the space in terms of the proposals from the different sides to find some kind of common ground?
First of all, thank you for having me. I don't think there is much common ground between the Hamas position and the Israeli position, despite the words of the U.S. Secretary of State in saying, well, there are some non-starters here, but there is room here to exploit and to keep pushing. I think, obviously, it's incumbent on the mediators to continue pushing, but Israel has, and Netanyahu has no intention here of any kind of permanent ceasefire, which the Hamas proposal will ultimately lead to. I don't think they want to release this many prisoners, especially 500 that are long-term serving prisoners. And they don't want to exit the Gaza Strip. You know, Israel is here for a paradigm shift away from the status quo that existed before October 7th. They want to slowly drive the population of the Gaza Strip out by making it uninhabitable. And now they're entering this stretch in which they're putting pressure on the masses that have accumulated around the Rafah border.
Sorry, Omar, are you saying that actually it might suit the Israelis for the conflict to continue because then they can maybe concretize their future plans for Gaza even further? Because one of the accusations against the war cabinet is that they're not making any definitive decisions because they don't know what those will be.
I think that's absolutely right. I don't think it's a matter of not knowing what. I mean, there might be some differences within the war cabinet itself. More people that were not in the original government that took shape in December 2022 entered this war cabinet, and those are not necessarily ideologically aligned with Netanyahu and the far right ministers that are within his government. Those who lead this government do have a plan, and they've made that quite apparent, I think, and that is to permanently occupy militarily the Gaza Strip, to not allow conditions for life to resume in the Gaza Strip. They've almost leveled all the civilian infrastructure in the north, much of it in the middle and part of the south, and now they're kind of honing in on where. Upwards of 70% of the entire population of the Gaza Strip is now amassed near the Rafah border, driven into tents and shelters there. And now Israel is going to start striking that. And we've heard the UN, we've heard your correspondent say that this would lead to an unimaginable catastrophe if Israel does go forth with a full military assault on Rafah.
Omar, do we know how difficult it's been for the Americans to get some kind of pan-Arab support for the US proposals that are being negotiated? Because without that pan-Arab support, the longer-term future of the Palestinians is going to potentially create as many problems as it has in the past.
Yeah, it's been quite difficult. I mean, one of the first objections of the other Arab states that are interlocutors of the United States here is that they don't know what Israel's ultimate goal is, and this is what we're talking about. Because Israel doesn't make that necessarily plain to the Arab states and to the United States what that plan is, but they've kept it pretty vague and obscure and are continuing to move forward. So that's one aspect of it. How can they play a role in the day after and the way forward if they don't know what the end game involves? That's one aspect of it. They don't want to also be cleaning up the mess that Israel has made here. Israel has literally utterly destroyed the Gaza Strip. Are they supposed to come in here, fit the bill, to rebuild, to pay for everything, and to manage and to police the Gaza Strip in the aftermath of what Israel has done here, and the kind of the traumatized and angry population that's going to survive this? No, I don't think they want to do that. So a lot of this negotiations that the U.S. is doing, I don't think they're finding that receptive of an audience unless there is ultimately, and this is what you're hearing over and over again, a legitimate, a credible pathway to a political endgame between the Israelis and Palestinians involving what they want to be, a Palestinian state on the 1967 borders. If there's a credible endgame there, a credible pathway, then I think they're more likely to be involved. But Netanyahu keeps saying, no chance there's going to be a Palestinian state. So they're saying, well, there's no chance for us to be really involved in this if that's the case. And I think that's the dilemma that the United States is in.
Omar
between
Rahman,
its
really
two sides.
interesting to hear your analysis. Just sorry to cut you off there, Omar. Really appreciate the analysis. Thank you so much.
Sure, happy to be with you. Thank you.